What's going on, people? Welcome to the Fan Cam. I'm Diyar, and today I'm going to be joined by Baddest fans to discuss that ball fest against Fulham, 0-0 at home. But first up, I've got Stan with me here. Stan, thanks for joining me.
How you doing, mate?
Palace 0, Fulham 0. What did you make of it?
Well, I got up at 6:30 a.m. Toronto time to watch it. The guys over in Vancouver got up at 3:30 a.m. to watch it. It was a Roy Hodgson masterclass. I mean, we lack creativity. We lack anything. I mean, 0 shots on target. I think the goalie Guaita played very well, and the defense did all right. But going forward, it was terrible. I don't know how much longer we can accept this. I mean, I know we've got 33 points, but Jesus.
Yeah. And the worst thing about it is that it's just we got 12 more games. 12 more games of this.
Is it 12?
But
I thought it was 10. Oh.
I think it's 12. I'm pretty sure it's 12. Yeah. It's 12 more games of this against teams, who are better than us, and we'll see how that goes. But what did you make of the lineup today? There's a couple of changes in there. Patrick Van Aanholt came for Mitchell. He seemed like he might have a knock, so that's understandable. But Christian Benteke started ahead of JP. Do you think that was the right decision from Roy?
No, because JP scored in his last game. So why are you going to drop him? I do think, though, that we have obviously 3 games in a week. So obviously we're down to the bare bones. He wants to obviously try and rotate a few players. But yeah, again, you can't really say anything about Benteke today because he literally got nothing. There was nothing played into him for him to have a chance.
Yeah. Why do you think that was the case? Was it a formation then? Because Andres was putting crosses into the box, but it just wasn't quite reaching him. And I think this is where there's a misconception with Benteke. He hasn't scored once again. But how do you expect him to score when he's not getting how many times did he get the ball in a box for him to actually be in a position to maybe head the ball or shoot it? Maybe once, even if I can't remember that. Did he even get it once? So no, how can we go and talk about Benteke? And that's the issue.
I think he maybe got it once off a corner, but yeah, I think it's what's it called? I mean, you can't really blame him. He did what he had to do. I think Hodgson has set him up to play like that. He's literally set him up to play like that. I mean, look, it looks like we're staying up. 33 points, 10 ahead of Fulham in 18th, but. I mean, what can you do? And then obviously, you go through the game. Fulham are a good team as well. They've obviously been unlucky. They've had a lot of draws, but they've got some ballers in that team. You look at Maja, he's a great player. You look at Loftus-Cheek, Lookman, Cavaliero, Joachim Andersen at the back, brilliant. They would walk into our team, but Hodgson would probably ruin them as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, like you said, 12 games left. And it's anti-football today, mate. I can't... I know it's a point and we've got a lot of players out, but yeah, anti-football.
Yeah, Daniel's asking, how can't Paris see this? So where do you stand in this situation? He can see this. He was at the ground and he's a Paris fan as well. And I'm pretty sure he's not happy with how some of these games have been played out. But do you understand it? I mean, we've got 12 games left. We're pretty much comfortable. Do you understand the reason why he might keep Roy Hodgson?
Yeah, I can see it. But my worry with him is that he's going to give him another year. That's my worry. You know what I mean? And it's going to be the same old dead players, dead football. I'm not asking to play passing football all the time, but I wish we just have a go sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Can he see it? Look, he's probably going to have to bung him 2 or 3 million to let him go. What's the point? Just keep it and let him go at the end of the season. But yeah, it's very, very tough to watch today.
T, thanks for joining us. Of course, it's an early game for you as well.
Yeah.
Over in America. I woke up at 11 and I was like, do I really want to do this? And I don't know how you guys wake up early. But what did you make? What did you make of that game?
Just stale, boring. I'm kind of like in the same mind frame as Stan, in watching the game, I said to myself, I would really enjoy us being a team that tries to win a game instead of just trying not to lose it. And I felt like from the kickoff of the second half, Fulham was trying to win it, and we were just trying not to lose it. And I mean, it's evident when you see things like bringing in James McCarthy for Eze. It's like, oh no, we have to make sure that we just don't lose this game. You know, rather than trying to be positive, trying to move the ball, you know, trying to actually attack. I mean, I can't think of really one actual legitimate try on goal. You know what I mean? And
neither can I.
and
Yeah.
and the fact that you can play 90 plus minutes of football and say that to yourself is mad.
I wouldn't say football. I think football deserves a bit more respect. I'll just say 90 minutes of Roybal, which is Gareth saying it, because that was not football. And I think you can hear it in our voices. We woke up early, and you know it's still early in the morning watching the game. But we're just like we're talking like how Palace are playing. We're just like okay, like there isn't any excitement. It's another game, same shit, another game, and. You know, you look forward, and I don't know. I don't know what to. You know, I'm not excited by the games because I'm expecting the same, and I think that's the most frustrating thing about it. It's just, you know, the players just look like they were just out there just for the sake of being out there. They didn't. I don't remember, you know, one player standing out and saying yes. I feel like that player is saying yes, we can go win it. They were just there. They were just there for 90 minutes. Yeah, we didn't concede, we didn't attack. You just okay, we go home. I think that's it. But who do you think that is down to? Do you think that's down to the players because of the Brighton game? They spent so much energy and they're just drained in this game because of how focused they were in that game, or do you think it's just down to Roy just not, you know, upping these players up?
I think it's down to Roy the way he set them up. He has, and he like I just remember like when I saw what's it called, like the last 15 minutes when he brought James McCarthy on. Did we have 3 defensive midfielders on?
Mm-hmm. And they were playing a midfield 3 with Gyro on the left.
Yeah, Gyro on the left. So he packed the midfield. So like rather than say 0-0 against a team that's fighting for relegation, and they were so open at the back. Do you know what I mean? Like they were, because they were bombing forward trying to get a goal. So rather than actually say, you know what, we got Benteke, he can stick one in the onion bag, or we've got Eze can do a bit of magic. He played with 5 across the middle. 4 across the back, 5 across the middle. Like, are you kidding me? And like, even he ran his socks off against Brighton, okay, and I give him that. But he's so shit, bro. He's rubbish. And today, I saw one in the second half. He took the ball on the left-hand side, and he just ran it straight to the touchline and out of play.
Yeah,
Oh man!
What are you doing, man?
But to be fair, Stan and T, I don't know what you guys thought of it. Ayew was playing down the right-hand side against Brighton. Andros was playing down the left-hand side. And the goal that we got in the second goal was Andros with a stronger foot putting crosses into the box. Mm-hmm. And in this game, I thought, you know what? It worked. Well, it worked well in terms of we got the result against Brighton. But maybe just put Andros on the left, put Ayew on the right, and let them cross the ball into the box with the strong foot into Benteke. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you know, we changed it about. What did you make of that? Do you think that was right from Roy? Andros likes playing on the right. He said that before. I remember under Pardew, he was a bit unhappy playing down the left. But you know, for the team, sometimes you just have to sacrifice your enjoyment and you have to play in a position that you're asked to do. And I feel like if you play down the left, yes, he put crosses into the box down the right, but it wasn't as effective. It didn't really go to Benteke. It went over him. It went, you know, it was misplaced. So I didn't understand that. Jordan Ayew wasn't involved as much because he's not used to playing down the left. You know, what how can you expect him to do much when that's not his position?
I mean, I agree with you. I think that having him cross on their strong foot would probably be a little bit more effective, especially with a target man like Benteke in the middle. I mean, having the most accurate crosses you can get time and time again is probably going to be the best thing for us. But even more than that, I mean, I really, it bothered me at times how much we played through the wings and not through our midfield fulcrum in Eze, who's there as the attacking midfielder. We've been calling for it. We've been wanting him to play that central position. but when he's there, we don't play through him.
Yeah. What do you think it is with Eze? I mean, last game I understood it because he was playing more like a defensive. Well, I understood it because he's playing more like a defensive midfielder, which sounds crazy because he's meant to be our most creative player. But today he was in them central areas. He wasn't as deep, but he didn't manage to get on the ball as much. What was it? Because Andros was down the right hand side, and I never really saw Eze going there to help out. Do you think it's like a tactical thing for Eze just to remain central, which I don't understand because he should have that freedom though?
It had to be tactical. It had to be because literally every single time Andros bombs up the right hand side, literally the only option he really had to pass to was to go backward to Joe Ward majority of the time. He couldn't even get the ball. He couldn't even get the ball up to Benteke just because of the way things were aligned. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it had to be something tactically because it didn't seem like Eze had freedom of movement in his position that he was in.
But that makes zero sense, surely, Stan. You have your most creative player. Why would you? I mean, down the left hand side, when he's playing down the left, then he can cut through the middle. He can move about. But why would you tell him to stay just in central areas where he's getting none of the ball, and then you sub him off for a defensive midfielder? Because yes, he hasn't had a good performance, but you're not putting him. Yes, he's playing centrally, but you're not giving him the freedom to allow him to play to his full potential in that position.
Do you remember England in Euro 2016 under Hodgson?
Jeez, I remember. There's lots of things there with England.
Right.
Euro
Do you
2016.
remember? So he was the manager. They had a decent enough side, and they were just. It was the same old rubbish that we're serving up now. That's what it was, and this is the case with it again. I would love us to get someone from the club onto this fan cam or onto your podcast, get Steve Parish on, and just ask him, like, what's happened to this club? Like, what's happened to the club that reached the FA Cup final, the club that was ambitious? What happened to the club that the chairman went into the Evening Standard or in the papers and said they should be fighting to be, to be in the top 6 in 10 years' time, etc., etc. Like, where's that all gone? Because, I mean, it's all well and good staying up, but this is, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is rubbish, mate. I mean, Brighton is one thing. It doesn't really matter how you beat them. You just got to beat them.
Yeah.
But this is rubbish. Like, this is, you're killing, like, you're even, probably Gary Cahill's even bored of this. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is terrible. And we haven't even lost. We got a point. And I'm just, like, looking through BBC now, trying to see when he's going to come on and, just say that, it'd be the same old thing when, well, we played well and it's a very good result.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's gonna find a point. Exactly. He's gonna find. I don't know how his mind works, but he's gonna be looking at this as a very good point because he'll look at this. He'll look at Fulham played very good in the second half, so it was a good point that we didn't concede against them and we got the draw. Like I think that's how his mind works. He just looks at the other team and then looks at us. We allowed them to play well. He ignores that, but they've played well and we've kept the clean sheet, so it's good. But shocking, I don't know. We'll see what
it's just
we'll see
so
what it says.
Shocking. It's like,
I mean, if we were being honest, had it not been for having Vicente in goal, we would have lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Vicente.
He had some great save. That save on Maj's header, like game saving. Like honestly, because we weren't going to be able to do anything if we got down. And it's sad to think that way, but like if we got down one goal in that game,
yeah, we're done. We're done. Like we
done.
don't come back.
We're not going to come back. And even if we're down, I would put all my money on it. Even if we were down one goal in that game, he would still put McCarthy in for Eze.
Yeah, or bring on Kelly for like Benteke or something. Like he just makes weird substitutions.
Honestly, I'm going to sound ridiculous here, but I had a what's it called? Like a moment of thought during the game that he'd bring on Mateta and play him as centre back. That's how ridiculous. Just shore it up, mate. Just shore it up.
Respect the point. Can we say respect the point in this game? Do you think it's fair?
I don't think it's fair because we literally were playing for a point for half of the game. for no
For
reason
half.
at all.
I thought it's for the entirety of the game.
I mean, yeah, like
I think we were shocked.
and you can definitely, I mean, and there's definitely a case to be made for that too. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I don't respect the point when you go into the game and that's the only thing that you're really trying to get. Like as a team, you don't feel like we were out there trying to win the game at any point, and we're
Which
playing
would
against
make
a lesser
sense.
side.
Yeah, exactly. That's a key point, which would make sense if it was against, a City who are just on form this, lately and this season. They've been going crazy.
Mhm.
But when it's against a team who's in a relegation battle and who's, you saw in the second up, they push forward because they need all 3 points. It's pathetic. You can't use the excuse of Wilf not being inside. Wilf hasn't been in the side for a very long time. If you can't figure out a plan B to Wilf not being in the side after this many times of him not
But
playing,
Diyar,
then you
this
are an
is the
awful
plan
manager.
B. This is the plan
What?
B.
What was the plan B?
This-
Having 0 shots on target.
Yeah, this is literally 4 across the back, 5 across midfield, and don't lose the game. That is the plan when he's not there. And it's shocking.
Don't forget, we've had games with no shots on goal when Wilf has been on the pitch too.
Yeah. And just remember as well, we're missing Wilf, but we're missing Schlupp because he's very good for us. We're missing MacArthur, who, if you don't play him every game, is very, very good. I heard him on the touchline today, egging the boys on. But we're missing him. I'm trying to think who else is on the injury list. We're missing
Tompkins.
Tompkins.
Back. But I mean, we didn't concede today.
Yeah.
But what? So do you think it's injuries that play a big part to these performances, Stan?
Mate, I just think that we've got a squad of cart horses, to be honest with you, and I stand by that. I've been saying that for a long time now. I've overpaid cart horses. We've got no depth, and without 1 or 2 players, we lack real creativity, and that's it really. We're lucky to have points on the board. We really, really are. And we're lucky some people started the season slowly. We've got Man United at Selhurst on Wednesday, mate. That's going to be a bloodbath. They're going to absolutely batter us. It'll be 4 or 5.
We'll talk about the games that are coming up because I feel like we need to mention them. It's going to be a bit crazy now towards the end of the season. But Gareth says, Glenn Johnson once said when he was playing at Liverpool under Roy, the team were always set up to lose, not to lose rather than try and win. The next manager at Liverpool was Brendan Rodgers. Enough said. Yeah, I remember that. He was on TalkSport saying that.
Yeah, I remember watching that interview too.
Yeah, so, and it feels, and you kind of understand it. It feels like the same thing at Palace as well. And he talked about the training and it being, just repetitive and stuff. And you can see it. And the one thing that I'm worried about the most is that we've got some creative players in this team, but at the end of it, after a long period of time of basically treating these players like they're not creative and they haven't got in the locker, I'm worried that next season, when the new manager does come in, if Roy's not here, that these players are going to have to take some time to adjust and get back to actually enjoying football. I don't think they're enjoying football right now. Do you think Eze is enjoying football? He looked like he was about to cry when he came off because of his performance.
It's shocking. But with this club and the people that run it as well, like we're talking like Eddie Howe, Frank Lampard, etc., etc. Like I'm not even lying here. You can end up with Harry Redknapp, bro, or Gary Megson, or some like obscure manager, because that is the way that this club is run. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Prim says, taking a new manager on is less of a risk than risking next year's season by damaging the morale in the team. I've said this. I've said if we've stayed up, if we're acting like we've stayed up and Roy's, that's it, we're done. That's why Roy ain't going. Well, look at the other side of things. If we stayed up, if we're that confident of ourselves, then why don't you bring in a new manager for the next 12 games? Bring in whoever you want, and then let them have the time this season and preseason, and then we kick on next season. Like, why do you have to wait until the end of the season? I don't get it. Maybe it's financially. I'm not too sure, but is Roy's contract that big that that you have to wait until the end of the season to get rid?
I think he's got a fair chunk of cash in. He's on about $4 million a season or something.
I don't know.
Plus, if you get rid of Roy, you got to pay him out. You got to pay him out and getting rid of them, and then pay someone else to come in. So there is some financiality that comes with that, along with the fact that the way that they're probably looking at it financially is they probably don't want to make a manager move until after we've ensured ourselves that we're staying up and we get that TV money from the Premier League after we've survived the season.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think it's financial as well.
because
Even
honestly, the thing that I worry about is if we're going to make a managerial change, that we're not going to make it soon enough. Like if we're going to make it, it needs to be early on in the summer so that manager can come in, start putting his groundwork together, having enough time to have a true full training season prior to the actual season happening, so that, like you said, those players can have that time to hopefully adjust, feel comfortable with playing in a different way than they have these past year plus for whoever the particular player may be. But we can't let it drag on to where we're bringing somebody in too late and they're not getting enough time to set up and prepare.
Vito says, not to be cruel, but has McCarthy actually added anything to the team since he has joined? I've not been watching a lot of the matches, just mostly highlights. McCarthy came on today, but McCarthy in general, what do we think of him, guys? Do you think he adds value to the team?
I think he's a good squad player.
Yeah,
I think
he's
a
an
typical.
enforcer.
Yeah, he's a typical Roy Hodgson player. He's not bad on the ball, but he's a defensive minded midfielder. Has he lit up the team? No, but he's always done a job when asked.
And my thing is, I don't the style of play, and the thing people love about him is his edge when he's out there, and how he isn't afraid to stand up for teammates or go after guys and things like that. And that's all well and good, but like, what good is an enforcer if he never is healthy? How much of an enforcer are you? How much of a tough guy are you if you're always hurt?
Yeah.
John
says Luka was
injuries. So I think we have a very bad injury record as well. I mean, I don't know what the.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw that. I saw a little graphic about that. Like it's us at the top, and then Liverpool as far as the amount of games that have been missed by players through injury this season.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it. Like with injuries, I just don't get it. And I look at football in general, and I just think a lot of footballers are pussies. Do you know what I mean? Like if you look at players in the NFL, players that play rugby, they get smashed about every week.
Yeah, it's just different from football. I don't know what's going on at the training ground. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're wrestling or something, if they're having fight nights but with Palace it's been a bit weird in terms of the amount of injuries that we get, and their muscle injuries as well. Maybe it's the fixtures. But CBFC Nate, thank you for the super chat. He says all the joy and excitement in watching Palace has gone. Roy did the job we needed after the ball, but we need new tactics and to blood youth via academy. I think we all agree with you there. You pretty much summed up perfectly. And then Evan says Saka, PVA, even Benteke at this point ought to go to have a chance of buying reasonably good players. Take also into account that Wilf has every right to leave, which he should, whatever became of us. Yeah, that's pure frustration there from Evan. I don't know where we should start. But in terms of Wilf, I think this summer I'll be very surprised if we keep him. But then again, do you guys see him leaving? Because we've got a prize for him, and then teams will have to pay up, and I'm not too sure if they will with the coronavirus. But then again, he's so public about it nowadays that I feel like he'll be really pissed off if we keep him for another season.
Wolf's getting up there in age. He's late 20s now, and the amount that we value him at will never equate to what other teams will because of where he is. Because no team is going to pay 70, 80 million pounds for a guy that literally will be 30 after his first contract expires with them, more than likely. He goes somewhere, signs a 3-year deal. He's going to be 30 years old in the final year of his contract.
He's 28 now.
He's 28. Did he just turn 28? Yeah. Okay. So he'll be 31 years old on a 3-year deal. Like, no, nobody's going to pay 70, 80 million. Like, honestly, I could see the Wilf saga playing out by him running out his contract.
Yeah. Kiermani Gordon, Pierre-Eric, Spence, all could be shoot additions under more braver manager. I love the show, lads. Appreciate that, Nate. Appreciate you always tuning in.
Okay. Can we end the Brandon Pierre-Eric debate right here? Okay. I don't want to hear it. He's on loan at Kilmarnock. He don't even make the matchday squad. He came on for about 4 seconds against Norwich and touched the ball. And Palace fans are saying, "Oh, he's amazing. He should be in the starting 11." He's nowhere near good enough. I don't want to hear it.
I'm more excited about a lot of the younger kids than him.
Yeah, there's other players there. But there was a younger player on the bench today, Hannon, who normally plays left back for the under-23s, but I guess he was there to support for the right back in this game because it makes no sense. Mitchell was also on the bench. That was a positive sign. Talking about positives, even though he didn't come on, but at least Roy, in the past he hasn't even put these youngsters on the bench. But it seemed like there must be something in him for Roy to actually have him in the matchday squad.
No idea. No idea. Because I mean, Martin Kelly could have played emergency right back if we needed him to. So I'm not really sure like what the need to put the kid there was compared to some of the other kids that we had decided not to play. Like if you would have told me that kid would have ended up getting a chance to sit on the first team bench before a kid like the kid that's in Ireland now. Or Scotland. What his name is
Scott Banks.
Scott Banks. Yeah. If you would have told me he would got a chance for Scott Banks, no way. But I don't know. I mean, good to see that he put some youth there, though. That is good.
Yeah, the whole Scott Banks thing as well. Like he is a good player, but like, why is he going on loan to some dead league in Scotland? Like,
right. If he's not going to the first league in Scotland.
Yeah, or like, surely if he's that good, go to the Championship, go to Derby County or Bristol City or somewhere like that. Do you know what I mean? So,
oh my days, okay. So I've got some bad news for you guys. I'm going to read out Hodgson's comments after the game. I've just seen it on the timeline. Okay. And Hodgson has said, I can't believe this. I can't believe he's actually said this. He said, "I am very pleased with the performance. It was a very difficult game. We knew Fulham were in form and have some excellent players." He just said that. That is a journalist. Like that is not someone making it up. That's a journalist tweeting that. He said that after the game. I'll repeat it. He said, "I am very pleased with the performance. It was a very difficult game. We knew Fulham were in form and have some excellent players." That reaction to that. I mean, I get lost for words when he says things like that because I just feel like he's just taking the piss out of us. The fact that he's very pleased with the performance of us having 0 shots on target against the side who's in a relegation battle, it's all baffling. But I said this. I said that he'll find the positives out of it. He'll say that Fulham were in form, and then he'll think that's a good point. But I'm laughing from frustration. How on earth are you very pleased with that performance? So, are we watching something different?
I think his idea of football and our idea of football is very, very different.
Very different.
He is right. They are in form. They have picked up a bit of form. And they have got some good players. They've got players that would actually walk into our starting 11 and make us better in every 100%. Position. So that's shocking in itself. So the club should be ashamed of themselves that a team fighting relegation has those types of players, and we don't. And that's all I can say. Like I said, I is there one Palace fan that still finds this acceptable? Like,
I don't think there is.
This is ridiculous. Like, and nothing from the club. Oh, we're safe. Oh, yeah, we've been in the Premier League. It's going to be 9 years in the Premier League next year.
Mm-hmm. Roy operates based on fear. That's it. The reason why he's such a great defensive manager, quote unquote, is because he manages solely based on fear of who he's playing against. So in fear, you do whatever you can to try to be as defensive as possible to not give up goals. Fulham in form. Come on, man. Fulham wasn't in form. For Fulham means that they could actually compete and they could actually possibly win a game.
True.
That's what informed Fulham is. That's what informed Fulham is. Informed Fulham is a team that might be able to get out of the relegation battle. That's what informed Fulham is. But this manager operates, and it goes back to what was said earlier about Glenn Johnson's interview. He operates based on fear of the opponent. not what your team is capable of doing, but what the other team can do to you.
Yeah, that's a very good point about Fulham.
I think you got to realise as well, if you look at I'm just going to go on, let's look at Fulham's games before us. They only beat Sheffield United 1-0.
I watched that.
Right?
And they were talking about, they're in such great form because they got 19 points from the last 19 games.
They've kicked on this last week, I think. It was the last week or the week up. They picked up some points, and that's why they're not a bad side. But as you said, T, it's not. The fact that you're saying Fulham are in form and using that as an excuse and have 0 shots on target, they're still in a relegation battle.
Right.
They're still in a relegation zone.
I'm not going to come out and play the way I'm not going to come out and play the way that we did against Fulham based on how they've been playing. It's not happening.
But he is.
But you know what I will say as well is that if this Fulham team stays up, they won't be in a relegation battle. They're going to overtake us if they stay up. I'm telling you.
Because Scott Parker is the type of manager that if he can keep a lot of those guys on, I know some of them are loanies and things, but if he can keep a lot of those guys there at that squad, at that team, they will move past us because he's ambitious. He's going to have them playing good football.
Look, let's try to be positive a bit. Gareth says, can I mention Johan Kabay? What player he was and Roy let him leave? He would rather have Luca or Johan.
Obviously, Kabay is one of the greatest players to ever put on the shirt.
All right, that's it. We needed that bit of positivity.
Luca doesn't win that competition against a lot of guys. He's another thing. The game looked very, very past him today. They were talking about it on BBC constantly. It's like, oh, he looks slow. He can't get to the ball anymore. That's why he has to foul so much. It's like they see it. He's done. But nobody else seems to see it though.
Luca doesn't win it against Michael Hughes or Aki Riolati. I'm trying to think who else has played in that. Sean Derry. Those are midfield linchpins of the past. He was good 1-2 seasons, but now he's dead, mate. He's a dead player.
Yeah. We're all counting down the days to the end of the season, praying he goes, aren't we? We are. Well, I am, anyways. I am done. I am really done. It's just when you have a club who's showing no ambition, how can you it's hard for me to get motivated before Palace games. It really is because I'm just what are we trying to do? Really.
I understand we're in COVID, but like I keep saying, it's going to be 9 years in the Premier League. Where's the fucking money? I
don't know.
What's going on? Do you know what I mean? Every 2 teams come up every year, overtake us every single year. Where is the money? You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
Well, we got them investment from American owners, and the stadium was meant to get built. The academy did. I'm not too sure what's going on with the stadium. I'm not too sure how long we're going to hold on for because we've been talking about Sainsbury's for God knows how long now.
We don't need a new stadium. We don't. People, if we carry on this way, you're probably only going to get 10,000 people when fans go back because no one's going to want to bloody turn up and watch this crap.
Yep.
Yeah, but in the long term, it can help us, Stan, because there's a massive waiting list and it's a massive catchment area as well, South, in terms of getting fans in. So I think financially, there's only so much we can grow as a club. Maybe we can get academy players and sell them on. But, if we can get more people in the stadium, more match to the revenue, I guess it can help the club. But I don't know what's going on with that. I really don't. I remember being at the media day at Palace, at Selhurst Park for them stadium open, and that was in 2017. We are now in 2021, and I'm pretty sure that was meant to start, I think, the next summer, I think 2018 or 2017. It was meant to start 3-4 years, and we're still in a position where, what's going on? What's happening?
One of the things that that sometimes I feel like we're not taking into account enough is a lot of infusion of money comes from finishing higher up the table. We're talking about millions, multi-millions of dollars in difference with between two spots. So it's like if we're not trying to be ambitious and play winning football to move up the table, and because if we're safe from relegation or what we see as being naturally safe, then we should be trying to finish as high as we can so that at the end of the season the higher amount of money can come in to help us out.
I agree, and we ain't even asking to finish in the top 6. Like finish 9th or 10th would be, that would be considerably more money. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I can only imagine the amount between finishing 13th compared to finishing 10th.
Yeah. Well, look, let's try and wrap this up now. Let's look ahead to our next game against United. But before we talk about United in particular, I feel like the fixture list is quite dangerous from here till the end of the season. We've got United, then we've got Tottenham, West Brom, which should be a big game. And then we've got Everton, Chelsea, Southampton, Leicester, City. We've still got Arsenal to play, Liverpool to play. We've got some hard run of games coming up. But first up is United on Wednesday night. What are we making of that? Would you make any changes to the lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd bring.
Who do you bring in?
I'd bring Mitchell in at left back for sure.
Mitchell in at left back. Anything else?
And I'd probably give JP another run out there too.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't come on to that. I don't understand it. We had 0 shots on target, and he still didn't bring him on. Like he had a good performance against Brighton. If he had a bad performance, I would understand, but. I just hope it's not a case of, we've seen it with Roy and certain players where he just doesn't prefer them. He just doesn't, he doesn't like them as much. So hopefully that's not the case and we see more JP. But Stan, any other changes that you would make? Agree with T there?
I agree with T. I don't even know, honestly. Like, I just think you look at these next 2 games, you're going Man United at home, all on form, they're second in the division. Front 3 are very good. And you got Tottenham late now, next week, Sunday. And they're 3-0 up against Burnley at home now. Gareth Bale looks like he's hitting a purple patch of form now. And and then you think, what games are we winning? I think you can look at maybe 2 games we might win between now and the end of the season. If we score more than 5 goals, it would be a miracle. Between now and the end of the season, it's just I just hope someone from Palace, like from the club that has some say so, watches these fan cams. I hope they do, because like him sitting up there on his leather seat with his buddy, his beg friend Mark Bright in his director's box, it's not doing anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, just do something. This is ridiculous. This is shit.
Because if you play like that against Fulham, what do you expect when you go up against Leicester and United and Tottenham? Like, what the fuck are we really looking for here?
I really don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Wilf is back. That could be a positive, but it's still going to be difficult if you're playing like that.
So you got Man United, Tottenham, West Brom, Everton, Chelsea. What are you getting out of that? You might not even get a point. Lucky we got 4 points out of these 2 dreadful games. Really,
we'd be lucky if we get 4 points out of those games you just mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. West Brom game is going to be a difficult task. We should be getting 3 out of that, and then maybe Southampton get. But yeah, it's the fixture list is horrible. We're so lucky that we beat Brighton. If we didn't, then right now it'd be looking kind of scary where we are in the league. But look, thank you guys for joining me. Thanks to everyone who's been listening in. As you can tell by our voices, it's very early in the day. We watched Palace. That was a miserable performance. So, we haven't got energy. As Palace showed it, we're same as well. No energy, horrible performance. But, thanks to everyone tuning in. If you're new here, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, up the Palace.